This is it, the moment right before everything changes. For months, the naysayers, the skeptics, and the doom and gloom crowd claimed the sky was falling. Well, they were wrong. We didn't enter a bear market in crypto, and the future is looking brighter than ever. Honestly, this was always the most likely outcome. But now, those same critics are either quiet or scrambling to delete their social media rants about impending collapse. Funny how a few days of surging prices can shift the narrative, isn't it? That's crypto for you. Things move at lightning speed and the game can change in an instant. And right now, we're in a sweet spot. Momentum is building and some of the sharpest chart analysts are laser focused on XRP and Ethereum. The attention isn't just on them individually, it's also on the XRP/ETH pair. It's worth noting because the buzz around this pair is growing fast and it's one to watch closely. In this video, I want to dig into something interesting happening with Ethereum. Now, if you're an XRP enthusiast like me, this might sound concerning at first. Ethereum is starting to outpace XRP. But here's the twist. That's not a bad thing. In fact, this pattern has played out before every major alt season. I've been mentioning this over the past few months. Don't be shocked if Ethereum starts overtaking XRP for a while. If you check the XRP/ETH pair, it's common for Ethereum to pull ahead temporarily until XRP comes roaring back and puts Ethereum right back in its place. Before we dive deeper though, let me be super clear. I'm not a financial expert. This isn't financial advice, and you definitely shouldn't buy or sell based on anything I say. As I'm recording this on Friday, May 9th, 2025, XRP is sitting at $2.35. It had a little surge earlier, peaking at $2.43 this morning. I've got a hunch it won't just climb back. It's going to smash through that soon. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is at a solid $13,274.00 after hitting a 24-hour high of $104,281.00 earlier today. Gotta love seeing those numbers climb. Now check out this post from Julian Biddle, the head of macro research at Global Macro Investor GMI. If you don't know GMI, it's a powerhouse in the macro world, and I'm a massive fan. Biddle works alongside Raoul Pal, the founder of GMI and Real Vision. You've probably heard of Raoul, former Goldman Sachs exec and a big name in crypto with over 1 million followers on X. Oh, and yes, he's an XRP holder. He leans more toward other coins, but hey, everyone's got their preferences. For me, XRP is king, and I'm totally biased. No shame in that. What I love about GMI and their approach is how insanely data-driven they are. They don't just throw around predictions for clicks. They base everything on historical trends and real numbers. Sure, they'll share their opinions, but it's all grounded in data, not hype. That's the kind of perspective I respect the most. Honestly, I can't get enough of their insight. They've been emphasizing the power of global liquidity, calling it a key driver of what's ahead for the crypto market. To illustrate this, they often compare Bitcoin's performance to global M2, the most liquid money in the world. Now, while Bitcoin takes center stage in these comparisons, the logic still applies to altcoins like XRP or others you might be following. Why? Because the crypto market tends to move as a whole, so Bitcoin can act as a solid proxy for the entire asset class. Here's the deal. The black line represents global M2, essentially the most liquid money on the planet. Take a look at the current state. Bitcoin's price tracks it almost perfectly, though there's a fascinating 12-week lead time. When you shift Bitcoin's price back 12 months and align it with global M2 in real time, the correlation becomes crystal clear, and it makes perfect sense. Once liquidity floods the market, it takes time to flow into stocks, crypto, and other assets. It's all logical, really. Before Bitcoin's recent surge past $100,000, 0 cents, we were in this bottoming phase. Analysts were pointing at charts saying, look at global liquidity. Bitcoin's bound to follow. And they were right. I shared that insight here with you back then. I wish I had an older chart handy now, but hey, we nailed it. We were right in that range and the data spoke for itself. All right, let me move my mouse pointer out of the way for a second. Now, nothing in life is guaranteed, sure, but if I were a betting man, and I am, I'd say Bitcoin is likely to stay correlated here. Why? Because it just makes sense. Most of the time, when you're glancing at the charts, that correlation is crystal clear. Bitcoin and the other big players tend to move in sync more often than not. Now, here's where it gets exciting. Look at how high Bitcoin could climb. Look, we're talking $150,000, 0 cents or more. Crazy, right? And if Bitcoin pulls that off, seeing XRP hit double digits totally within reach. That's full-blown alt season territory, folks. This isn't just some flashy gimmick. This is real data. Case in point, Julian Biddle chimed in saying the timelines felt empty without a fresh banana zone chart. Well, looks like it's time to fix that. Here it is, the famous banana zone displayed right on your screen. Every one of Bitcoin's 4 cycles since the dawn of the crypto era has danced around this zone. Yes, we're diving into Bitcoin here because, well, what else could we be talking about? Now, you're probably wondering why it's called the banana zone. For starters, its upward curve vaguely resembles a banana, though let's not argue over the geometry if it starts bending the other way. More importantly, it's the zone where prices go wild, the excitement peaks, and chaos reigns. It's where everyone loses their minds, pure euphoria, cats and dogs suddenly become best friends, logic flies out the window, and it's just an incredible time to be alive in the crypto world. And the best part, history loves to repeat itself. Take a look at the first cycle back in 20112, T012. Patterns emerge, stories unfold, and the banana zone keeps stealing the show. Take a look at this. It's fascinating. When you enter what I like to call the banana zone, everything starts to unfold. First, there's a breakout to the upside, followed by a correction, then another surge, another correction, and finally, the explosive blow off top. It's a pattern we've seen time and time again. The same thing happened in the 2014-2016 cycle leading into 2017. Fast forward to 2019 and history repeated itself. We know that run peaked in 2021, following the same rhythm. I've lived through the last 2 cycles, though I only caught the tail end of the 2017 madness. I jumped in during November of that year, just in time to witness the wild mania unfold. Well, now here we are again in the early stages of the banana zone for this market cycle. If history is echoing itself, things are moving a bit slower this time around, but the structure is unmistakably familiar. Liquidity and macro conditions point to one thing. It's coming. Brace yourselves, folks. We're heading for another major surge, followed by a correction so sharp it'll shake people to their core. The grand finale, a blow off top. If history continues to repeat itself, and why wouldn't it? We're humans wired with the same DNA, reacting to the same patterns. Put us in similar situations and we'll behave the same way time and time again. Sure, individuals might change, but as a collective, we're predictable. The same triggers, the same reactions, the same cycles. It's no mystery. Why does history keep playing on repeat? That's why. That's exactly why. Every 4 years, global liquidity surges in a predictable cycle. And if you're curious about the mechanics behind it, I highly recommend checking out Raoul Pal's channel. He's a brilliant mind and a true journeyman in this space. While I can't recall every detail of his insights off the top of my head, it all connects to the global refinancing process. This cycle has been consistent since the 2008 financial collapse, shaping the markets like clockwork. That's the essence of it. 4-year cycles driven by liquidity shifts. Here's the deal. This is exactly what's happening right now. If you're looking for the full rundown, there's an incredible presentation from about a week ago in Dubai. Seriously, it's a must watch. The video's making the rounds, and I had the chance to check it out recently. I think it's about 36 minutes long, packed with insight. So if you want a detailed breakdown, go watch it. But here's the gist. Big changes are coming. If you're sitting there wondering whether your altcoins or XRP will make you insanely rich, well, it depends. What does rich even mean to you? That's subjective. But if you're asking whether we'll see a massive blow off top in the market, my answer is a strong yes. I'm confident that's the most likely scenario. Can I guarantee it? Of course not. Nobody can, not even me. But that's where I'm placing my bets. Now, here's a gem from the blockchain backer who posted something earlier this morning. What was it about? Well, he was referencing an April 11 post where he shared a Bitcoin USD chart. Back then, the world was in chaos over tariff news. His comment, this reminds me of 2022. It's giving FTX level doom vibes out here. Everyone's acting like there's no way out, just like during the FTX meltdown. The put to call ratio through the roof. Shorts are the crowded trade, doomers are everywhere, and Peter Schiff is the main character in this saga. But here's the kicker, it wasn't all wrong. Fast forward just 1 month and we've got more data to unpack. Check this out. Someone compared Bitcoin's recent price action to tariffs and then to the FTX collapse. Both times it felt like the end of the world. Markets moved sideways, then boom, up we went. The thing is, this April 11th post didn't capture the up part because it was too early. But now the first leg of that upward move has already happened. And it's not over yet. How cool is that? Sure, a short-term correction could still happen. No one's promising smooth sailing, but this isn't the apocalypse, and the bigger picture, it's looking upward. Add chart analyst mustache take to the mix, and it's hard not to feel intrigued. Ethereum is setting the stage, and altcoins are ready to follow. Once Ethereum makes its move, the altcoin market is poised to explode. High caps, mid caps, small caps. Get ready for the kind of 20x to 50x gains we've all been waiting for. I've been saying this for years. This is how the game works. It starts with the big players. Bitcoin leads the charge, followed by the other large caps. As profits roll in, they flow into mid caps and then into the small caps. It's a cascade of opportunity as investors push further out on the risk curve. This is the season where fortunes are made. While Bitcoin might not be the star of this moment, countless other coins are primed for massive gains, 20 to 50 times their current value. When it comes to XRP, don't expect a 20x jump at this price point. It's already had its big breakout for this cycle, but don't count it out just yet. There's still plenty of room for it to climb much higher than where it stands now. Let's put it into perspective. The market bottom for XRP was 28 cents. A 40x increase from there this cycle, not out of the question. As for right now, with XRP sitting at $2.35, a 20x surge from here might be a stretch, but hey, I'd love to be proven wrong. And speaking of big moves, Ethereum's been bouncing back strong, now trading at $2,341.00. Take a look at the last 90 days. Ethereum hit rock bottom around $1,400.00. Seems like it happened around April 8th. Fast forward to today, and it's skyrocketed to nearly $2,500.00. That's a massive leap. In just the past 7 days alone, it's up 27%. Incredible, right? As chart analyst Malleus put it, Ethereum erased 11 weeks of losses in just 2 days. That's the kind of wild ride crypto offers. And doesn't that remind you of XRP? For years, it just sat there, stagnant, priced against Bitcoin in the broader market, barely moving. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, it exploded. That's the beauty of crypto. Everything changes in a flash. Stay sharp, folks. So Ethereum, remember when everyone thought it was the end of the world because the price dipped? Suddenly, fundamentals didn't matter, and people were panicking for all the wrong reasons. Classic case of emotions taking over logic. None of it made sense, as I've been saying all along. And now it's pumping. Not shocked. Humans will always human. Check out this post from Scott Melker, aka the Wolf of All Streets. He shared an ETH/BTC chart, and it's wild. Ethereum is just now climbing out of oversold territory on the weekly VC Bitcoin. Translation: there's a ton of room for growth. Think about it. Against the USD, Ethereum is already up 27%, and this chart shows it's only just warming up. Yep, love to see it. And now look at this gem from Crypto Insight UK, a fascinating XRP/Ethereum chart. The last time XRP/ETH got this oversold on the 4-hour chart, well, let's just say buckle up, it could be showtime. So what's the takeaway here? Let me break it down for you. This chart focuses on XRP versus Ethereum. And if you look closely, XRP has been taking some hits against ETH lately. Why? Simple. Ethereum's been on a tear, rebounding hard after being stuck in the mud against USD for ages, while XRP has been holding steady. But here's where it gets interesting. Check out the RSI, Relative Strength Index, below. The last time XRP was this oversold against ETH, it was November. And what happened in November? Boom! XRP exploded. It shot from $0.49 to $2.90 by December 2nd. Then, after a short breather, it smashed a new all-time high by January 16th. We've reached a point where XRP is now even more oversold compared to Ethereum. So what happens next? This is why I've been saying for weeks, scratch that, months, don't be shocked if XRP takes a hit against Ethereum. It's nothing new. It's just part of the cycle. Historically, that's how it plays out. But here's the twist. After lagging, XRP usually takes off and leaves Ethereum in the dust. That's the pattern, and I bet it's about to happen again. Take this post from chart analyst Cryptos as an example. He says, my XRP/ETH trade is now complete. I'm rotating back into XRP. The kicker, he's buying back with 32% more funds because of the trade. Smart move. But let's not focus on the trade itself. What matters is the bigger picture. This XRP vs ETH chart says it all. First, a dip, but then a rocket straight up. It's predictable and thrilling all at once. History has shown this before, and there's every reason to believe it's about to repeat. Here's a fresh look at the XRP/ETH chart, courtesy of Credible Crypto. After briefly breaking above the range highs, XRP/ETH is now correcting and heading toward Credible's first key downside target. But here's the kicker. This is only significant if or when we see confirmation on XRP's. But what's the big picture? According to a post from yesterday, Credible Crypto suggests XRP could dip even further before taking off. He's not guaranteeing it, but if his prediction holds, XRP is set to rocket upward and outperform Ethereum this cycle. His bold call, XRP could hit a peak somewhere between $20.00 and $30.00 this run. Ambitious, sure, but crazy? Not at all. Chart analyst Bob Ye also weighed in, pointing out that Ethereum's current outperformance is actually a bullish signal for XRP. Why? It ties back to a chart he's been highlighting for months, one that many dismissed at the lows, and yes, he got laughed at for it. Now it's starting to get the attention it deserves. Oh, how the tables have turned. Here he is sharing a post from July 1st, 2024, a blast from the past that lines up perfectly with everything I've been saying. The chart he's referencing, it may be an old one from last year, but it's spot on. This is exactly the kind of trend we expected to see, and he's excited because it's all playing out as predicted. Take a look at the XRP/ETH chart on your screen. It's the classic Wyckoff accumulation schematic number one, with events and phases unfolding just as they should. This is good news, really good news, because as the pattern plays out, numbers go up, even when measured against Ethereum. Here's a chart spanning the last 5 years. Notice how XRP seems stuck, barely moving for years. Then came last November, and everything shifted. Suddenly, stagnation was history. Let's zoom in on this 1-year chart for a closer look. As you can see, XRP climbs steadily against Ethereum with a recent dip, but this kind of movement is all part of the bigger picture. At this point, XRP was actually gaining against the dollar, just not as fast as Ethereum. On the chart, it might look like XRP is dipping, but that's an illusion. The real story is unfolding, and it's exciting. If history's taught us anything, this is exactly what you'd expect. Ethereum has always been the spark that ignites every alt season since it's been in the game. This could very well be that moment, the one that kicks everything into gear. I'm watching closely for a bit more confirmation, but the setup is looking solid so far. Check this out. Chart analyst Bobby A chimed in and shared his own take. He believes XRP is on the verge of an explosive, parabolic run, potentially soaring well beyond $5.00. Of course, he's confident XRP is set to soar this cycle. And to kick things off, imagine XRP climbing to $5.00. Exciting, right? This is the time to stay optimistic and realize the bears got it all wrong. They always do. Take this post from chart analyst Stefa/Crypto, for example. He points out the most insane XRP buy signal is flashing, but nobody seems to care. Well, that's definitely not true. I care, and I'm betting everyone reading this does too. So what's this insane signal? Stefas highlights XRP/USD charts, 2017 on the left, 2025 on the right. Back in 2017, XRP blasted upward, consolidated for 6 months, then broke out again. Well, here we are, November 2024. XRP has been consolidating for half a year, and now it's breaking to the upside. It just feels like the stars are aligning, doesn't it? Could this be the moment we've been waiting for? While there's no guarantee it'll happen today, tomorrow, or next month, the setup is undeniably compelling. History has a way of repeating itself, and the idea of another explosive face-melting rally for XRP, it's not far-fetched. It makes a lot of sense. Check out this post from chart analyst Peppa over at Moonshilla. The XRP USD chart shows the price sitting at $2.40 this morning, and his bold statement, XRP bears wrecked double digits incoming. He's been consistent about his predictions and strongly believes XRP will hit double digits this cycle. Honestly, that doesn't sound crazy at all. In fact, we might look back someday and think low double digits, those calls were conservative. Chart analyst Dom is back with an XRP update. $2.43 hit after bulls held the quarterly VWAP, finally delivering the move we've been waiting weeks to see. If the quarterly VWAP holds strong, we could be eyeing $2.50 and beyond soon. Still sitting mid-range, but heading in the right direction. Short term, looking solid. Long term, the best is yet to come, my friends. This is the moment right before everything changes, the calm before the storm of opportunity. If history has anything to say, we're standing on the edge of something big. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't buy or sell based on my words alone. If I ever happen to be right, taking my advice would still be a terrible idea.